Come on, Fat Finger Squad in the building. It's the network, bruh. Today's lab is configuring EIGRP routing, basic EIGRP routing. So we're introducing EIGRP today. We did OSPF for the last couple of live streams. My phone, man. So yeah, Plant-Based Brother mentioned that this lab was going to be a large lab, and I thought so too. I thought about it all day today, and I'm like, how am I going to tackle this? And I saw that it called for a frame relay switch and all this other stuff, and I started to play with it a little bit today because I was like, I might have to do some of the labeling and cabling before I start streaming. And then I just was like, you know, as I was setting up the frame relay switch, I'm like, man, you know what? I didn't even do this, and I'm going to check, but I'm pretty sure. Let's pull up the exam topics here, right? Y'all know I like to pull up these exam topics. Where we at here? That's the book. Exam topics are whoop, topics right here. You just type in frame relay, and guess what? It's not on the exam. We can even pull up. Let's check the book, the official cert guide, right? See if that's even in there. Pretty sure it's at least, I'm pretty sure they at least mentioned it in the book, right? I mean, it's frame relay for crying out loud, right? Searching 1095. And remember, there's 2 chapters, 2 volumes of this book. So I got volume 1 right here. It doesn't look, I'm not going to sit here and check all of this. It pulled up the word frame, but it's not pulling up frame relay. Let's see. Is it even in the definitions of the book? We got frame. We got frame check sequence. Guess what? Frame relay is not even in volume 1. They don't even have a definition for it. Well, guess what? Yeah, so frame relay ain't even on the exam. They pulled it. It's pretty much old technology. But like I was mentioning in the chat room there, OSPF is pretty old too, but guess what? It's still widely used to this day. To this day! To this day! But, and so is EIGRP, and that's what we're going to do today. So, I also, if you guys don't know, have another chat, basically a Discord server. If you guys want a little bit more information, or if you want to hear me talk a little bit more shit, or hear from the rest of the Fat Finger Squad, you can join the Discord server, and on there I actually try to get some input from you guys and let you guys know, hey, I'm thinking of skipping these last 2 OSPF labs because it calls for frame relay setup, and I know that's pretty old and it's not really used as much. Where's the YouTube window here? I got too many damn windows here, man. What's going on, Danny? We got Danny in the building. Got the rest of the Fat Finger Squad. That is the Discord server if you guys want to join. Anyways, so yeah, I asked if anybody had any input on me doing this, skipping these labs, because it called for frame relay and stuff like that. It does have OSPF, but the core of it is frame relay. And only one person responded, and it was our buddy over there, Kelvin, aka Encyclopedia Brown, and he just put LOL frame relay. That was enough to let me know. Okay, if he put his stamp on it, then or his stamp on skipping it, then we'll just go ahead and skip it. So this lab is going to call for 2 switches. I'm sorry, 2 routers and a switch. And y'all know these switches be playing funky with me. It's going to call for VLAN on the switch, but I'm just going to keep it on 1 VLAN. So let's just go with the, if you guys are using Packet Tracer, you can follow along and create your own VLANs and stuff like that on the switch. But I'm going to just go with the Ethernet switch and don't even play with the VLANs or anything like that. So I'm going to put a switch in the middle and put 2 routers around them. Let's go with the version 15. Are they going to ask for clocking again? No clocking today. So good, because I like the version 15, the newer routers. So we'll go with those 2. Router 1 here, router 2 there. Label and cable. All right. We're going to go from, what is that? Gig 00 to 02. and then port 3 to gig 0, 0 on that. Get the labeling. What we had today? What was on the current events today? We had apparently there's a father and a son coaching against each other in the Final Four today. I didn't even see that. I was like, wow, Baylor versus, I don't know, who was it, Houston or something? I don't really watch that much college ball, but router 1, he's router 1, right? And the other guy's gonna be router 2. I can't wait till we start doing some bigger labs and stuff, man, and start doing more of the CCNP stuff. But not for nothing, that frame relay, I tried to tackle it before the stream, and I was like, man, like frame relay, I haven't done this stuff first of all in a long time. As a matter of fact, I did a little bit of frame relay on the CCNP exam, not for nothing. They still had it on the exam, and that's when I failed it. And then when they renewed the exams, they took it off, so it's not even on CCNP either. We are going to put these routers in area 0. So let's just do a little bit of labeling here. And another thing too, y'all know I always do the labels and put those 2 routers. This is similar to the OSPF. I'm sorry, what am I doing here? I am on the wrong page here. There is a switch there. So it is EIGRP. So this is not in the same area. So EIGRP does not work with areas. They work with autonomous system numbers, right? So what I was going to say was that we don't want to put our routers in areas or ASNs. We put our interfaces, because we can have a router in an OSPF area and in one interface in an EIGRP area. So that's why it's more accurate for me to put the label like this to cover the interface instead of the entire router like this, unless both of those interfaces are in that area. But we're going to have just that interface, and on this one, this interface in that area. Because theoretically, if we had an interface coming out of here, we can have, like, say, a EIGRP neighbor coming out this way. So what we're going to do here, let's pick a color, style. Let's go with orange today. Bring that ass back, lower, right? And we're going to put this in EIGRP. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. DNS3 just love to play with me, man. They just like, he's streaming today. Let's fuck with him. It just be working that way. So ASN254 is what we're gonna do here. And remember, last couple streams we worked with OSPF. If in real life, no one uses EIGRP because Cisco is expensive. You a goddamn liar. Because last 2 organizations that I work for, a large hospital organization plus a university, are using EIGRP. I hope you're I think you're trolling over there, Indrit. Watch out with that switch. What's up, Lee? Yeah, you got to be a troll, man. You talking about EIGRP? Cisco is expensive. It is expensive, but EIGRP is definitely used, man. Even when I worked for a network operations center, a lot of the organizations that we work with were using EIGRP. So you got to be a troll, man. It's all good though. What we're gonna do? We're gonna power these bad boys up. Labeling cable. I think we're pretty much with the labeling. What happened to the those guys right there? That's what I was looking for. Power these bad boys on. Are we sure we want to start them? Let's see. Y'all got any questions so far or anything like that? So yeah, if you got the book, this is the book we typically use if this is the first time you're streaming or tuned into the stream. We use the book 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net. It is authored by Paul Browning and co-authored by Farad Tafa. Experts agree that we retain 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. Y'all know I love this book so much that I really didn't want to skip these last 2 labs, but I was just like, man, it's frame relay. And then Kelvin was just like, LOL, frame relay. Cisco devices and EIGRP is Cisco. Yes, they are. However, EIGRP, believe it or not, it is open standard routing protocol, and you can use it on other switches as well. Did you know that? It became open standard, I want to say, in 1993. Let me fact check myself. before I spit that random fact there. EIGRP open standard date. Google it and let's test myself here. Where are you from, and are you CCNA/CCNP? Oh, you got to be. Okay, I know who you are. I am a CCNA certified, and I'm working on my CCNP. I work as a network engineer. What else you want to know about me? I'm originally from New York City. Live in Florida. Let's see here. Open standard. EIGRP, right there. So EIGRP replaced the IGRP in 1993, and it became open standard in 2013. So believe it or not, you can use it on not just Cisco devices. You can use it on other devices as well, other vendors. So what else were we doing? Let's go ahead and log on to router 1 and console into router 2. We don't need to console into the switch because that switch is a generic switch. So what else here? Let those bad boys power on. And close this bad boy. Close this bad boy. Close that bad boy. Router 1, router 2. Don't worry about the switch. All right, so he should be powered on. The host names are probably already configured. Router 2. They are taking their sweet time to wake up. In the meantime, let's read the lab objectives. The objective of this lab is for us to enable basic EIGRP routing. Enabling basic EIGRP is a fundamental skill. EIGRP is an advanced distance vector routing protocol. It is also Cisco proprietary protocol, right? Just like my man Endrit said, or NRIT said, right? So it's a Cisco proprietary protocol, but now also an open standard that runs over IP protocol number 88. As a Cisco engineer, blah, 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 blah. We need to know about EIGRP. So like I said, we don't need to know about frame relay, and that's why I skipped the last 2 labs. Configure the host names, which I'm pretty sure they are already enabled. Whenever these decide to wake up, obviously I need a better computer, or at least one that has a faster CPU, because these bad boys, maybe I should power these bad boys on before I start streaming over there. Mr. Eric, got a lot of questions, mostly off top. Yeah, it's all good though, man. It's all good. Again, you could join the Discord server if you have stuff that's off topic or whatever. I mean, even if they are off topic. These bad boys are taking their sweet time to wake up. They're like, man, this is 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, man. What you over here labbing for, man? Shouldn't you be like doing wind down Wednesdays or something? I'm CCNA certified and learning CCNP Encore, still got no job. Hey man, it's all good. Mind blowing now. EIGRP Cisco. My mind blowing now. EIGRP Cisco or open standard. So it used to be Cisco proprietary protocol, but like I mentioned earlier, so if you like I had to fact my checks myself as well, right? So it used to be Cisco proprietary protocol, so you could only use it on Cisco devices, right? But in 2013, right here, this is the Wikipedia page. I'll put that in the chat for y'all. But in 2013, they made it an open standard with this organization called ISO, where they make open standards and stuff like that. So now you can use it on different vendors. Try VA, NC, or GA. No job that doesn't give me confidence. Hey, it's all good. If you are working, I would not work. I mean, continue working on getting your CCNP, learn it. But in my opinion, I would not work. I would not try to just get it and put it on your resume, because then it's gonna look like, okay, so you got a CCNP and you ain't got no job. So you want to continue working on getting your CCNP, but don't necessarily, even if you get it, I wouldn't even put it on my resume. Just let them know you have a CCNA, but you have that CCNP knowledge. It is kind of tough it's not an entry level cert, but I don't know. It really depends. What field are you switching fields, or what's your background like? There's so many variables here that could attribute to why you're not able to land a role, man. It took me a while to get a networking job myself. once I got my CCNA. Actually, I got my CCENT at the time, and then I worked in the Network Operations Center. And then while I was working there, I got my CCNA, and then eventually, and I'm working on my CCNP, and I've been working on it for a while now. So we're gonna change him to router R1, right? Hostname R1, if you could remember what those are. And this guy's gonna be R2. R2. And that's pretty much task 1, right? Just configure the host names. We don't have to worry about this guy. He is, I mean, if you want to change it, we can change it here. SW1. Again, your simulator or emulator might be different if you're using EVE-NG or Packet Tracer or something like that. Configure, so task 2 was to configure the VLANs on the switch, but y'all know this switch be acting funky. I'm just gonna leave the VLANs as default there, so I'm not gonna even mess with that. Y'all seen what happened in the last stream, so keep in mind that by default, switch 1 will be a VTP server, blah, 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 and no, I'm not even gonna mess with that. So we'll leave the switch and worry about EIGRP on router 1 and router 2. That's what we came to do, just basically configure EIGRP. So task 3 was to configure the FA00 interfaces on router 1 on router 2 with the IP addresses in the topology. So I did not put the IP addresses in the topology so y'all can see it, right? Those IP addresses are 10.0.0. Oops. Dot. My bad. 10.111/24. Right? Like that. And then the other guy is 10.112. 10.1.1.2/24 subnet mask, right? And again, your interfaces might be different. I have giga bougie interfaces. I got a network job without CCNA. Start at help desk if need be. Yeah, that's true too. By the way, I'm 19 years old and 0 experience. It's all good, man. You're at a good start if you got your CCNA at 19 years old. That's a great start. You might have to maybe do some volunteering. You know, maybe volunteer at a church or something like that. I remember there was a guy at the time. I was already working in a network operations center, but there was a guy I sold, or I was selling my, I had a router that was just sitting there and it wasn't even being in use anymore, right? So I put it on OfferUp. It was on OfferUp for a while. And this guy, he sent me a message and said he wanted to buy the router. And he came over, he wanted to look at the router. He's like, yeah, I'm just replacing it. He had his own business. And, you know, we exchanged contact information. I said, hey, man, if you need, you know, some help or if you need anybody, because I'm looking for a little bit more hands-on experience. I worked at a NOC, which we only did remote work, right? So he's like, yeah, you know, you just send me your resume and stuff like that. It's all about building your relationships. So if you can find somewhere you can do some hands-on, you know, even if it's for free, you know, pro bono or whatever, you know, try to get anything like, any kind of like free experience that you can get. That's the best. That's probably one of the best ways if you're not able to, you know, land a job that way. But it's all about getting, building those relationships, networking with other people. Every company looking for someone with experience, and my chances is 0. I don't know. So yeah, like I said, try to get experience. And then if you need to put that on your resume, do that. Be like, hey, you know, I volunteered at this church. I helped set up their Wi-Fi. You know, if you're showing that you're hungry in the interview and stuff like that, they will call you. Plant-Based Brother. That's a great way to do it too. Tech Systems is a recruiting agency. I also got my first hands-on networking role through Tech Systems as well. So if you want to try to go through recruiting agencies, there's Tech Systems, there's Apex, I think there's Bowman Williams or something like that. There's a lot of recruiting agencies that will, you know, help you find roles in IT field. So look for recruiting agencies. Don't be scared to apply if you have 0 experience. Exactly, Jason. Don't be scared. Just apply. Even if they say 0 experience, put something on there that showed that you volunteered and stuff like that. But anyways, let me stop my Tony Robbins talk over here and get to labeling and cabling, right? So we need to do the IP address here. Interface GI00. His IP address is 10.111. All right, let me just stop talking and get to working here, right? And no shut that bad boy. I'm already going to trust myself with the subnet mask there. Do this guy. Configure terminal interface GI00 10.1.1.2. Subnet mask is /24, so /0. No shut that bad boy. He should theoretically be able to ping across, right? Because yeah, they wanted us to do. He should theoretically be able to ping across. 10, oops, 10.1.1.1, because they in the same network. My bad. Put the period there. No, he can't ping across. Probably because, oh yeah, he can ping across. Good. I was going to say probably because of the switch, man. Y'all know these switches don't like me on GNS3. So router 2 was able to ping router 1. We should be able to do the same thing on the other side, right? So ping 10.1.1.2, right? So he was able to ping that guy, right? So now what else they wanted to do? Task 4, what we came to do. Perform a ping router 1, router 2, and vice versa. So we can verify that the routers can ping each other. That's great. We did that. Enable EIGRP on router 1 and router 2 for the subnet configured on their FA00 interfaces. So that's what we came to do. Enable EIGRP, right? So the subnet here is what? We have the IP address 10.111 and IP address 10.1.1.2. Subnet should be 10.1.1.0 network, right? Am I correct in saying that? So this is very similar to set up EIGRP. It's similar to OSPF, right? Remember, we went to global config mode, right? We're going to do it on router 1 first, right? And we typed in the keyword router, and then a question mark for the context sensitive help so y'all can see, right? And then you would put OSPF. That's what we did last time, right? And then the process ID. Well, with EIGRP, you would put, obviously, EIGRP, and then the ASN number, which in this case would be 254, right? And remember, last time, the process IDs did not have to match, right? Well, we're not working with process IDs. We're working with ASNs, and the ASNs have to match. For them to become neighbors, they got to match, right? So if you're saying hello, which EIGRP neighbors do, they say hello. The other EIGRP neighbors be like, oh, yeah, hello. Oh, you speak EIGRP? Great. Well, what's your ASN? My ASN is what? 254. Oh, great. My ASN is 254 too, man. Hey, I got some routes. And then they go become neighbors, right? But there's different states, and we'll go over that in a second. So EIGRP, right? And then we said the ASN is going to be, well, question mark real quick, right? We put the ASN now, and we put in, what is it, 254. Now we're in router config mode for EIGRP, right? Join the Discord. We can give you advice there. Yeah, for sure, man. Join our Discord, Endrit or Endri-IT. Join our Discord, and we can give you some advice there, man. So I don't want to, talk too much about it right now, but we could definitely give you some advice, man. It took me a while. My goal to become a network engineer started in 2015. I didn't get my first network engineer job until 2020. So 4 years. But I took the long route. I actually went and got a college degree. I got the A+, and then I got the Net+, and I realized, I want to get into networking. And then I got my CCNA, and then I finally got a network engineer role. So if I can do it, you can do it too, man. I will join tomorrow because I'm about to sleep. It's 2 a.m. here. Okay, all good, man. Join us on the Discord. I have it on my phone. You can hit me up on there, man. I will put it in the chat again, just so you know. So I always have my phone on me and stuff like that. You can DM me if you want. If you don't want to ask anybody else some questions, or there's other people as well. So hit us up on the Discord and we can give you some help, man. Network address was 10.1.1.0, right? Y'all know about subnetting, right? This is the network address we're putting here. Now we can put the wildcard mask here, or we don't have to. I think we are going to, it'll work with the class full address if you leave that out, right? So the class full address for the 10 network will probably theoretically change this to 10.000. So let's do this. Let's put network 10.1.1.0 like that, and then check our work real quick. We're gonna do show run. Remember, we're gonna get away from that, right? We're gonna get away from the show run. We'll go back to show run in a second. We'll do show IP protocols, and we'll see we are routing for what network? This is our router ID. So we get router IDs with EIGRP as well. This is the ASN. And we are routing for networks. None. Not yet. But if we do a show, there it is right there. And notice it says 10.0.0.0.0, right? Because it changed it to the class full network. We don't want that. So we could either do, I believe, no auto summary, or we could change we could actually put the wildcard mask. And then it'll say the network is 10.1.1.0 network. Right? So this is going to cover everything in that subnet there. So let's change that. Right? So let's go back to router EIGRP 254 and do network 10.1.1.0 and then the wildcard mask. right? 000-255, is it? And try that. And now let's do a show run section EIGRP. And there it is. So now we're doing that network and this network. We would have to get rid of this network statement here. Would that make any sense? Or we could just leave it at 10.0 because that falls into that network as well. Y'all with me so far? Let's do that. Let's get rid of that bad boy. Let's just get rid of it for now. Right? So router EIGRP 254. No, this guy. Right? And then we should be theoretically show IP protocols to show our work. Enter. And we'll see. Now we are routing for that network. That is the network address. Y'all see how I changed it there, right? Because by default, it's going to use the class full network. Because remember, 10 falls in is the class A network, right? You know, it's hard to explain the IP addressing and stuff like that. But I know I haven't done my tutorials in a while, so I would have to actually break down a tutorial. Maybe I could do a live stream, but I feel better doing that on a tutorial because I can edit it and stuff like that. So let's do the same thing on router 2. And they should theoretically become neighbors after that, right? Let's see what they asked for on this. What else they asked for? On the subnet configured on their interfaces, make sure that EIGRP uses ASN 254 as illustrated in the topology. So we're going to do the same thing on router 2, right? Go to global config mode, and we say router EIGRP 254, right? So same thing. It's just like OSPF, but we're putting the ASN and not the process ID. And the ASN's got to match. So, as a matter of fact, I remember they asked me that in the job interview. And Buddy tried to catch me too. He's just like, oh, okay, so the OSPF ID has to match, right? And I was like, I thought about it for a second. I was like, no, it does not. That's EIGRP, the ASNs have to match. And then he tried to trick me and was just like, oh, are you sure? Because I thought it was the other way around. And I was like questioning myself for a second. I was like, no, I think. And then afterwards, after the interview, he told me later on, he was like, I'm glad you didn't change your answer. You stuck with what you knew. And I respect that, because some people will be like, oh yeah, that's right. They do got a match. Or whatever, or they don't got a match. And that's where the interview can go downhill because you just kind of agreeing with what they say. So anyway, network address is 10.1.1.0, and we're gonna put the wildcard map so we can put exactly that network, right? And notice we don't have to put the area like we did last time. There's no other options. And notice, boom, we got the neighbor that came up, right? So we got dual, right? So if you guys don't know, EIGRP, remember, OSPF uses the Dijkstra's algorithm to figure out the best path to get somewhere. Which, by the way, the GPS, the actual GPS on your phone, I forgot who said that. Was it you, Danny? Somebody else on the group chat. And I didn't believe him at first, but then I looked at somebody else's network channel, and they said that as well. The GPS on your phone uses the SPF algorithm to figure out the fastest way to get somewhere. So, and that's why, remember how you always compare network and roads and highways and stuff like that? Well, believe it or not, the GPS on your phone uses the SPF algorithm to figure out the fastest way. Isn't that cool, man? So anyways, EIGRP uses not the SPF algorithm, but the dual algorithm, which stands for diffused update algorithm logic. I can't even remember. Let's verify that. Let me fact check myself. Y'all know how I do. EIGRP stands for diffusing update algorithm, right? So I'll pull that up real quick for y'all, right? I know y'all wait me to just finish the lab, right? The diffusing update algorithm is the algorithm used by Cisco's EIGRP routing protocol to ensure that a given route is recalculated globally whenever it might cause a routing loop. It was developed by J.J. Garcia, Ndoon, and Alcevez at SRI International. The full name of the algorithm is Dual Finite State Machine. So it's Dual FSM. I didn't know that. I think I remember seeing that FSM, but I didn't know that. Is responsible for the routing within an AS, or autonomous system, which is what we're doing here. The autonomous system is 254, right? So we have our neighbors that came up already, right? New adjacency is what it's saying there. We got a level 5 message. That's what that says. It says number change. EIGRP IP version 4. And then this is the ASN number, 254. And then the neighbor, this is from router 2's perspective, right? He says, oh, look, I got a neighbor, and his router ID is 10 quad 1. And we learned it from GI00. What? The interface right there, right? is up, new adjacency. So let's verify that information real quick. Let me get out of this. We do a show IP protocols, and we'll see we are running. Let me pull that up real quick for y'all. What's so funny, plant-based? We over there laughing over there. We have the EIGRP 254, right? That lets us know that. These are what's called K values, right? There's 5 K values. By default, they're all 0, right? By default, K1 and K3 are 1. The rest are 0. That's another fun fact for you to remember, right? You want to leave that by default. You start messing with that, you're going to mess with the whole algorithm. So by default, it's K1 and K3 are set to 1. Everything else is 0. That's another fun fact that they like to ask on the CCNA exams. Here's the router ID. I'm not too sure. I think this is SIA. I think it's stuck inactive, disabled, soft stuck inactive, disabled. I don't know what that is. I'll look that up. I'll make these other little things. I try to look up off stream because I don't want to hold y'all up for too long. Let y'all get y'all studies in after the live stream here. What else we got here? We have the EIGRP. Remember we talked about administrative distance. The administrative distance is 90. We can verify that with show IP route, right? Show IP routes as well. That's another way to check. Oh, he's not going to learn any routes because they're in the same network. If we put another loopback out here somewhere, and then he knew about a route that router 1 did not know about, and he shared it with router 1, then you would see that he learned that route from EIGRP. So we're not learning any EIGRP routes because guess what? We're in the same network. We already know about that route. We already know about this network, right? So, and they are connected, and it's local. So that's why you're not going to see any E's here, or not E, what E? Not E, D's here. Why you would think, right? EIGRP, they should have started with an E, right? That's a fun fact for y'all too, right? Why does the EIGRP in the legend here start with a D instead of an E? Does anybody know that? Pop quiz for the day. Yes, Batman. So the next question or next task was we enabled EIGRP. That's pretty much it. Task 5 was to verify that adjacency has formed and use appropriate commands. So we did show IP protocols, right? And we saw some timers here. We saw the administrative distance. Maximum path is 4. Hop count 100. I'll explain all this other stuff later, man. I don't want to do too much of a deep dive. I guess we could because we pretty much wrapped up this lab here. We're routing for that network right there. Remember, we had changed it to, if we'd have just left it at 10.0.0.0.0, it would have said routing for the 10.0.0.0.0 network. But we made it more specific by using that wildcard mask there. And that's why it says 10.110/24 network. Another thing we can use is show IP. Remember we did show IP OSPF neighbor in the last lab? Now we can do show IP EIGRP neighbor. And we can see our neighbor. This is from router 2's perspective, right? From router 2, we see that we have a neighbor with the IP address of 10.1.1.1, right there. Let me widen this for y'all to see it better. Do that again. Yes. So we have, what else here? We learned it through gigabit 00, that interface there. Or I don't know if that means that's his, I don't know if that's the local interface, if that's his gig 00 or that's my gig 00. I should have made them different so that way we could tell the difference. We have the whole timer there, how long EIGRP has been up. The whole time, I believe, is similar to the dead timer. It's set. See, let's see. It's at 14. Yes. So it's similar to the dead timer. So by the default timers, notice it went to 11, 12, and then back to 14, right? The timers for EIGRP, I think it says hello every 3 seconds, as opposed to what? OSPF by default says hello every 10 seconds, right? Let me fact check myself again, right? Before I give y'all some EIGRP. Did you buy any courses for CCNP or self-study? I self-studied, man. The course, I did buy, I remember buying something. What did I buy? Other than equipment. I have old hardware, a lot of old hardware. I went to gns3.com. I did a lot of labs on that. If you go to gns3vault.com, rather, he has a lot of labs that follow the EIGRP, I'm sorry, EIGRP, the CCNP protocol or CCNP exam topics. So if you go to GNS3 S3 Vault, let's do that. Welcome to GNS3 Vault, and then the labs there. He's got stuff on switching, static routes, RIP, OSPF, right? So you can also drill down to the test, right? You drill down to the CCNP test, and guess what? These are the EIGRP tests right there, or not tests, but labs here. That's just one lab actually, right? So, but I remember there's a whole bunch more. This is CCNP. Let's just say EIGRP, right? You see, so yeah, so these topics, even though they are mostly some of these are CCNA, a lot of this stuff is CCNP stuff, man, and it's free. So you go on there, and then he gives you the scenario and tells you what you need to do, and then he tells you which image he's got, and then you can just copy it, and then he even gives you the solution towards the end. So that's a great way to practice it. That's how I learned a lot of this stuff. What else course did I get? I don't think I got any other courses, man, other than the Cisco Press book, and then he has his own books as well. I had one of these. Where are they at? He got a couple books in here. But gns3volt.com, that's another good site to check out. There's so many resources out there, and a lot of them are free too. CBT Nuggets, Boson, there's a whole bunch of them. Exactly, man. There's a whole bunch of them. So we checked neighbors. What was I saying? I was fact checking the timers for EIGRP. I think it says hello every 3 seconds. The dead timer, I can't remember. I want to say it's 15 or 10. I don't remember. Let me check myself. Default timers are, EIGRP uses the default hello timer of 5 seconds and a default hold timer of 15. So I was wrong with that. Not 3 seconds. It's 5 seconds. Matter of fact, here is a white paper that I'll send you guys. And let's just do default timers. And we'll see. Nope, don't got it there. Let's just do timers. Timers do not match. Oh, so the timers do not have to match. Here we go right here. If the hold column usually ranges between 10 and 15 seconds, the hello interval is 5 and 10. I mean 5 and 15. So yeah, so hold timer is basically, it's kind of like the dead timer, I believe. If the hold column is usually a wider range between 20 to 180, the hello interval is 60 seconds and the hold time is 180 seconds. If these numbers do not seem to fit one of the default timer settings, check blah 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 blah. So yeah, it's 5 and 15. So we say hello every 5 seconds, and I believe we consider our neighbor dead. We can test it right now if y'all want to, because we pretty much wrapped up this lab right here. And that's why, and we can see the uptime just tells you how long it's been up. All right, we can test that if you want. This, I believe, is short round trip time. I can't remember what that stood for. Let's look that up too. SRT. Nope. Is it SRTT? SRTT. Which is the short round trip time. It don't even say. We can break this stuff down too, but I can share with y'all if y'all want. I got free books and videos for OnCoin RC. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, if you want, but as long as that stuff is able to be, is free to be for the distributed, we want to spread any kind of copyrighted material, because guess what? They already took the YouTube, the NetworkBruh YouTube down for violating something. I can't even remember. Said something about spam or whatever. So, and they took me down. So if it's not freely distributed material, I would not condone that. But anyways, we pretty much wrapped up this lab, man. If you guys want to follow along next time, get you a copy of this book. So Android IT, if you want to follow along, get you a copy of this book. Go to 101labs.net. It is authored by Paul Browning and Farai Taffa. The book is called 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. You could also get a copy of this. There's a link in the description box below. It's an Amazon link, so it is an affiliate link. We could also do, there was something else I wanted to check as well. If y'all want to stick around, we can look up what each one of these are. It's pretty much more of a deep dive for CCNA, but let's look them up anyways, right? Show IP, EIGRP, neighbor. I think you can do detail, right? Yeah, you do detail. That gives you a little bit more information there. We can see the neighbor's address is 10.11.1.1. This is why we use Discord. Exactly. If it's privated, don't share. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, man. If it is pirated material, man. We could see what else? Retries, max numbers 0. We've been up for 11 minutes. Let's look at what that. Let's look at what all that stuff is, man. But y'all, if y'all want to wrap it up, man, we are pretty much done. For now, comment, like, subscribe to the network. But I'm going to stick around and look at what all these other things are, because I typically run this command a lot, and I couldn't explain it to y'all. So let me just go ahead and look it up right now, right? And this is how I kind of do my deep dives. EIGRP SRTT. That is the, I want to say short round trip time. What is it? Yes, smooth round trip time. That's what it is. Smooth round trip time is the time in milliseconds for a packet to be sent to a neighboring router and for the acknowledgement of that packet to come back to the local router. So when he sends a packet and it comes back, that's how long it took. 14 milliseconds for it to come back. And I think it sticks that way. Right? RTO is what? Round trip something. Maybe round trip offset. I don't know. RTO is the retransmission timeout. Yeah, I got a bunch of PDF from 2003. Also, can you tell me where are you in CCNP? Where are you in CCNP? You know what? If you go on my channel, I've got all that stuff, man. I've done videos on OSPF, EIGRP, redistribution. Just go on my channel, man. I took the switch exam, and then I passed that on the first try. I took the route exam. I want to say, I don't remember if it was once or twice, but I definitely failed it. And then I passed it. So, and we did, I did some videos on OSPF and EIGRP redistribution. I did some videos on packet tracer with redistribution. I've done some GNS3 redistribution. Just go on my channel. You'll see, man. I did like a lot of old videos, man, that I did. Because I want to send you a lab with some tasks. It's advanced, and I want you to do configuring while streaming. Yeah, we'll do that, man. But I've been following this book right here. And then, yeah, just send it to me on the Discord, and I'll look it over, man. What else I wanted to see? RTO was the retransmission timeout. Let's see what that is. Yeah, but I'm poor. Man, you can find newer stuff than that, man. But I can see, yeah, I'm broke too. And that's why I use GNS3. Because if it's for free, it's for me. And guess what? GNS3 is free. Bars. RTO is the retransmission timeout. Let's see what that is. EIGRP. RTO. Retransmission timeout. Let's see what that is. What is EIGRP RTO? So I'm just kind of doing a deep dive. We already wrapped up this lab. I'm just trying to see, just want to do a, because I run that command a lot, and I want to know what every single one of those means. So retransmission timeout, this is the period of time a router waits before retransmitting a packet that has already been sent. So if he sent kind of like a packet over there, he got to wait for a couple minutes. I'm still waiting. I didn't get a reply yet. That's how long I'm going to wait before sending another one, right? Before retransmitting. Yeah. So over TCP, though. Because remember, TCP is a connection-oriented protocol. And, damn, what's the other one? I got a brain fart. The other one is a connectionless-oriented protocol. And that is not TCP, but I'm going to give y'all another pop quiz, right? What is that one? Question for anyone. Do I need to study ISDN configuration or not? Well, what are you wanting to do? Is there a specific certification you're trying to get? Is there ISDN configuration that you need to set up at your job? Because if you do, then yeah, I think you need to study ISDN configuration. If not, then no. I'm practicing frame relay now on packet tracer. Man, Lee, I want to know, is there a specific certification or something that you're trying to obtain, or is there frame relay that you need to do at your job, or is there a job that you're trying to get that requires frame relay learning? If not, you probably don't need to learn it. Exactly. Whatever. Check the exam objectives. So, like we pulled up earlier in the exam guide. Exam topics. So for CCNA, let's see, ISDN. Guess what? It's not on the exam topics. So not necessarily for CCNA exam. You might not even see it on the in the book, to be honest with you. But what else we had here? So that's what RTO stood for, right? And then Q count, I want to say quality count, and then the sequence number, right? So let's see what the sequence number, does that sequence number change? Sequence number 2, nope. So I'll pull that up real quick, 2. If anybody knows what that is, sequence number. In EIGRP neighbors, each update message is given a sequence number. And the received acknowledgement, or ACK, should have the same sequence number. Interesting. And then what's Q count? That was my other question. Q count, the number of EIGRP packets, update, query, and reply, in the queue that are awaiting transmission. And hopefully it's 0, because otherwise it'll be stuck inactive, right? That's one of the other packets, right? Because it's actively looking for a message. So you want that to be 0. So I guess we got all of that, right? So smooth. Is it round trip time? I can't even remember. What else? RTO is the retransmission timeout. Q count is the query count, or how many in the queue. And then RTO, sorry, sequence number is the sequence of that packet, I believe. Can't even remember. But anyways, this is going to be some off-stream studying that I'm going to do here to, memorize. You don't necessarily, like I said, you don't necessarily have to memorize all of this other stuff for the CCNA exam, but me, I like to do a deep dive and know what each of this stuff means. So that's pretty much it, man. Next lab will be lab number 55, and that is configuring EIGRP routing using wildcard masks. So I guess this book, we didn't have to do the wildcard mask, and I should have. I mean, we did do the wildcard masks, and that's actually for next. So I could have left it at 10.0.0.0.0 like we did last time, right? What I did, or initially what I did. And then I ended up using the wildcard mask. The next lab is what we actually needed to do, was put a wildcard mask. Also, it says here, when configuring EIGRP, you must use an ASN. This can be any number, 1 through 65,535, and it's configured as follows, and we did that. In addition, when you configure EIGRP, you will see an adjacency form, which we did, with that message right over, what was that message? Right there. That's when we had the new adjacency. This will be indicated by a log message printed on the console. Yep, and that was pretty much it, man. So that's pretty much it. Again, tomorrow we will do wildcard masks and hopefully knock that out real quick. If we have configured EIGRP and OSPF on all routers, and we change administrative distance of OSPF to 90, which protocol wins? That depends on the topology, and because OSPF will be tied with EIGRP because they're both 90. So it really depends on, like, there's so many variables here, man. There could be, if you have a serial interface connected to that other router, if you have a slower link, it could be, or a faster link. It really depends. If you change the cost too, so they'll both be tied. So it really depends on how the topology is set up. You know, what interface is connected to the one that's connected to the OSPF router. But OSPF and EIGRP will be tied at 90 because that's the administrative distance for both. I mean, in that scenario, they would be tied. So, but that's pretty much it, man. If you have anything else, hit me up on the Discord. Make sure you guys lab and hit me up. For now, comment, like, subscribe to the network. Bruh.